Hi, Mary. I wanted to tell you a little bit about your memorial service. It was really, really good. They had it in the Arboretum, the place you loved so much in your Oak Grove. And there were people sitting on the mosaic benches you loved, and there were a lot of people, and there were chairs, and it was late afternoon, so it was kind of cool. And they put ribbons on your favorite branch, that branch that went down that you always liked so much, they put ribbons there, and then people were supposed to write little things they wanted to say, and they put those on there. So you would have liked that. That was a really good touch, and there were a lot of people there, and Amy and Anne Marie officiated. They were really, really good, and you had a lot of friends to help. And there was a guy there playing guitar. He was really good. And then Jay and Jono and Ben spoke, and it was hard for them, but they really did a pretty good job. And then David said something, and Noah and Ava and Aaron. And so there were, your whole family said something. Well, most of your family, at least the Solniks primarily. But Mayor, none of your friends got a chance to talk. And you know me, I wanted to say something. And I'm sure a lot of your friends would too. Given the opportunity, people would have probably gotten up and, read poems and sang and danced and, all these other things. But nobody got a chance to do anything. And so I'm doing this video because I wanted to say something and didn't get the opportunity. So the first thing I want to say, Mayor, is that, they didn't get an opportunity to thank Anne and Angela and Karen for being there. But Mary, wow, that Angela and Anne and Karen were there for you for the whole month before you passed. That was just remarkable. Your sister Anne, your best friend Karen, and Anne's wife Angela were all there for you. They spent a whole month being there, loving you and taking care of you and getting out of your way when the boys wanted you to be all alone or whatever. But, unfortunately, I don't know what happened at the ceremony, Mayor, but nobody thanked them for their time and energy and the pain that they suffered too, watching you and helping you and the love they gave you. And they were there. They were all there when you passed, Mary, when you passed on. They were all there. And I don't know why, but again, like I said, they were overlooked in the memorial, and I really want to thank them for being there. I know you would have thanked them, and so I'm taking this opportunity now to do that. Also, Mary, guess what? Jesse was there, and Vic was, you've loved Jesse and Vic for so long. Jesse's such a good friend of yours, and I hadn't seen Jesse and you never met Vic. Great to meet them. And Corliss was there, and they did it on Zoom, Mayor. So Randy in New York was able to see the memorial, and I don't know, but I bet Ann Decker down in Mexico is there right there with you. So, and all your friends from Davis, there were all these people there, Mayor, loving you, and your friends from Palo Alto. Mark and Pat came up, and I don't probably got their names wrong, but anyway, people from Palo Alto were there. So people were from all over were there, and so it was really great. But again, nobody got a chance to talk. So this is my opportunity to say something. And so the first thing I wanted to say was that you and I met at the University of Missouri. I lived across the hall from you. We got to meet because I was always borrowing your telephone and cottage cheese. And we became close immediately, running back and forth on the top floor there. And I'd never met anybody like you. You. From the very beginning, you were just the most incredible person I had ever met. First, here you are from Poplar Bluff. Who knew where Poplar Bluff was? Poplar Bluff, Missouri. And your family didn't believe that girls should go to college, so they were not going to pay for you to go to college. Maybe community college, but they were not. The boys could go to college, that was okay, but not you. So they wanted you to start at the community college down in Poplar Bluff, but you had gotten into the University of Missouri, which was no mean feat, but they weren't going to help. And then, there was this fluke accident, car accident that gave you the money to go to college, and you worked too. But that was a good move, and no wonder you became a feminist. They were trying to hold you back. Yay, second wave of the women's movement. Seriously, I don't think young women today realize what women went through, and women as wonderful and as brilliant as you. The other thing that car accident gave you was enough money to go to Europe. I had never met anybody as adventurous as you in so many ways, intellectually and physically, but. There you were. I met you. I was in graduate school, and you were just finishing up undergrad, even though that we're the same age, because you took a year off and you went to Europe by yourself. Who did that? I didn't know anybody who had enough guts to do that. I was from Chicago. You would think I'd be a little more courageous than you, but no, you were this incredible wild woman from Poplar Bluff, and there you were on your own. You went to Europe, and it was mind-boggling. So, and if you hadn't done that, Mary, I would never have had the courage to go to Europe by myself. I would never. I spent 8 years in Europe, and I've traveled around the world, and all of that, and I do a lot of traveling alone. Why? Because you were my role model back in the early 20s. Just, it was unbelievable. So you were an incredible adventurer. The other thing, you were incredibly brilliant. I remember when we first met, you were taking a math class. I have hated math all my life. I was never very good at it, and you were good at it. You were getting A's. You were flying through this. You know, it was amazing how good you were at math. It was like, I was amazed. And not only were you good at math, but you were good in so many other fields. You're quite brilliant. And those of us who've known you in terms of understanding literature and understanding the world around us, you know, you were incredibly academic and incredibly brilliant. I mean, one of the things that you were also was very practical. You were the only person I met when I was in college who was going into a field because you knew you could make money. But of course, that makes sense given the fact that you had just come from an area where they were not going to pay for you to go to school, and you had to do it on your own. So you recognized that you needed to take care of yourself, back to being a woman at that time period who knew that she had to take care of herself. And so you majored in kind of special ed. And your whole life, Mary, you were able to get jobs. It was so hard to get jobs in anything, and you were the only person I knew who was getting jobs teaching. And you were a great teacher. Your students loved you, and you loved teaching. Incredible professional, no matter where you went. New York, you taught in New York. In the Bay Area, you taught in the Bay Area. And then finally, full-time job at Sac City. I mean, really, Mary, a lot of people were struggling, and you never had any problems getting hired full-time at these various community colleges, because you were not only a wonderful teacher, but people could see your spirit, that you could give back. Your students loved you. And I understand that there's many of them are still there thinking about you. Great teacher, great professional, and you loved it. You also were an incredible seeker. You were always learning things, always. That's why the spirituality, yes, they pointed out that when you were younger, you were raised Catholic, and the spirit there, and maybe thinking you were going to be a saint or something. Okay, who doesn't go through that? But you also sought, you know, understanding in so many different spiritual paths. And I think that underneath the arboretum there, you know, under those trees, that's certainly so much a part of where you were at. Your spirit was everywhere. You were giving and seeking everywhere, and your spirit just infused everybody. The other thing about you that people might not know is that you had an incredible voice. You were an incredible singer. You sang. I remember, because I went, that Leonard Bernstein conducted your choir. And Mary, you were conducted by Leonard Bernstein. So you were always in choirs. You had an incredible voice. And I know you were in the choir in Sacramento too, in the Davis area. And so your voice was just amazing. Your gift for music was just amazing. I don't think people, again, realized how great a singer you were. The other thing that I think people did know, and it was very obvious at the memorial, is how an amazing mother you were. You know, your boys, Ben and Jono, meant more to you than anything in the world, and you made sure that they were going to be taken care of. You always made sure that they were going to be taken care of. Even probably right near your deathbed, you were thinking, how can I help them? How can I help Jono? How can I help Ben? You know, so, you know, your being a mother was one of the most important things in your life, and the love you had for your sons was, again, mothers do love their sons, but Mary, yours was absolutely remarkable, and the love you gave. And also to Aaron and Noah, you know, they lost their mothers quite young, and but you were there for them, and I know they're all going to miss you. They're going to miss your mothering. In fact, you mothered a lot of us in so many ways, and I want to thank you for that, Mary. You were just incredible. The other thing is that you were funny as anything. You were the funniest person I've ever met. I've never laughed harder than I've laughed with you. And even the right before you passed, we were all outside having dinner in your backyard, which amazing that you were there with the oxygen going and sitting outside, everybody having dinner. And there you were. We were laughing up a storm. It was Mary, you were amazing. Here you were dying. And yet, you know, your spirit was such that you lifted everybody. You're, again, so incredibly funny. That humor was so important for people, and you had the gift of humor that was just remarkable. And I think the other thing that was really amazing, Mara, is that you were so incredibly courageous in so many ways. Courageous by moving, courageous by going to school when your family said no, going to Europe. Just you were like Ninja Woman. You were courageous. You were a feminist when there was hostility against that. You married Jay. Again, courage. And in your last days, the night before you passed, you were having dinner and a little wine, and you're up talking. And most people are out by that time, and yet your spirit was there, your life force, your energy, you were just Ninja Woman, just tiger, and your energy was there. And it was the next day, it's like you just stopped. You were in bed for one day, and then you passed with all the loving people around you, and Angela and Karen and Jay and Ben and Jenna. Wow, Mary. Just amazing. And then if you saw this memorial and you saw the people that didn't have an opportunity to talk but were there loving you, just remarkable. I'm going to miss you so much. I love you so much. And so I'm going to stop now. I just wanted to give you this and share my thoughts with you because I didn't have the opportunity at your memorial. So this is my gift to you, my friend. I love you. Bye.